Hi folks, just a quick video. I was just speaking to God about how I feel about this situation of a 2-week delay again with the case, with the dog situation. Well, with everything really. Yeah, I just said to God, well, you know, my understanding is that Father's already said to me that my dogs won't be coming back to these woods. That's from the Fairy Village wood. And so there's Fairy Village, Stinky Woods, and then there's the other place, Spiny Ruins. So they won't be coming back to those areas, is what I've been told. And also they won't be walking down the steps to where I am now. So with that being the case, it means if they're coming back, I have to move, right? The only way I can see them coming back is if the judgment goes in a certain direction. Well, because I've already said to Father, I am not going to contact another lawyer to try and take on the SSPCA because I have no interest in doing that. This is now the second issue I've had with lawyers, and I know just how absolutely crap and useless these lawyers are in this area. I don't need the stress of dealing with that. I just let the dogs go. If that's the case, I just let them go. So the only way they're going to come back is if I don't have to do that. And I don't see any way, apart from one way, that can happen. So it's like, okay. Now, with that being the case, so therefore, if that judgment is going to happen, I've got to move within 2 weeks. So, you know, just speaking to God about it and just saying, well, yeah. Do I think it's likely? I think it's unlikely, but is it possible? Yes. And what God said is, because I said to him, we just had a month, and yeah, it didn't move in that point in time. And God says, yeah, but we're a month closer now. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. To a certain degree, yes. Of course, we're a month closer now. We're a month nearer towards, if it's going to happen, we're a month nearer towards it happening. Yeah. And, you know, Father's already said to me, I don't need to take anything with me, basically. Just me and, you know, clothing, and that'd be it, pretty much. You know, phone, and that's it. Because everything else would be there. So basically, what I can get in a car, that's it. That's what I'm taking. Okay. Well, in that case, I could probably move fairly quickly. Yeah, I'd imagine so. I'd need to arrange for someone to supervise, or I could come back to supervise this place being emptied. Yeah, but most of it online. There you go. Whatever anyone else I know doesn't want. So that could be done fairly quickly. I guess a week, definitely, is all that's needed for that. So we've got 2 weeks. But so far, I know nothing. You know, I've not been contacted about anything in any way, shape or form. So therefore, as far as I can tell, what I can see is I'm in no better position than I was a year ago. But obviously that probably isn't the case. And certainly with regards to, is it possible with God? Absolutely. Yeah. So how do I feel about it? Because that was the question. Yeah. That really is about all I can say is yeah. Because I don't know how I feel about it. It's okay. At one point, for some reason, I thought it was 3 weeks. It had been delayed by it, but it's only 2. So it's like, okay. Yeah. Well, had it been 3 weeks, would I be more hopeful? Yeah, but bizarrely, there's no reason to be more hopeful. Because with God, 2 weeks, if God can do something in 3 weeks, he can do it in 2. Well, the understanding is that how much of a delay If I'm going to say that the court decided this, and the court's decided all this, and I'm not looking to God, am I? If I'm looking to God, then I have to say that God decided it would be 2 weeks delay. Therefore, okay, I have to trust that He knows what He's doing. Because when I look at the situation, I go, oh, okay. But if He knows what He's doing, then okay. Yeah. It could have been another month delay. It's only 2 weeks. It's the only time it's ever been that short a delay between going back. So with that being the case, because last time it was the wrong sheriff, and it's been a month since. This time only 2 weeks, so it's like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what's going to happen with that? I have no idea. But something else did come to mind earlier, which I'm not going to share yet, because I have to share it with some other people first. And yeah, but there's another possibility, because that was one point about moving, about me saying, how am I going to cope with that place? I don't cope with this place, and this type of place is really small. But I'm not someone to do housework. I'm very poor when it comes to that. So how am I going to cope with a place that's bigger? And today God gave me His answer for that, or what is possibly His answer for that. And it'd be a good answer, because I know somebody or a family that's looking for a home in this area. So yeah, so basically if God moved me into the place that I think God's been speaking to me about, it would be big enough for me and a family. Yeah. It would indeed, yes. At least for a temporary basis. Yeah. Yeah, because this family, their temporary basis right now isn't really suitable. They need something better. So that might be an option. So again, yeah, there are a lot of possibilities, and I speak to God about all this stuff. And say it was only yesterday that God spoke to me about the idea that if I move, the place that I'll be moving to would be big enough for me and them, so therefore they could come and stay there and help to do the housekeeping and to do bits of work around that will need to be done, because there will need to be bits of work done. And so yeah. Well, because certain elements of the property will be mainly for me, but other elements will be mainly for them, and that'd be cool. But as I say, I mean, Father says that the property will have everything that's needed. So will that being the case, okay. Yeah, I've got a cup of tea as well. Yeah, my last cup of tea of the day. Well, I've gone beyond. Well, yesterday I had this strict understanding. Right, no second kip, no tea after a certain time, because I want to go to bed early, so I've got to get up early, and even that got mucked up. But actually, beautifully, while I was in there, I was expecting that I wouldn't get in until maybe lunchtime. And yet there was a massive delay for some reason. The court normally would start at about 10 past 10. It wasn't till 10 to 11 it started. And I was out by 11:15. I think I was about the fourth person called. And there was a whole load of people still sitting there. And so that was unusual, yes. So I was out early. Well, I was speaking to Father about it and saying, yeah, I will need to get home soon, because I wasn't able to really deal with the sleep. So today could be a difficult day, because I didn't deal with it this morning as I normally would. So yeah. Yeah. So how do I feel about the situation? It's interesting. I would certainly say that. I can't really say any more than it's interesting, because it is. So the reality is that go right back, I think, probably middle of September 2021, probably about 2 weeks after the dogs were taken. I gave them completely to God. So they're in his hands. And if they're not supposed to come back to me, they won't. And that's fine. Yeah. If they're supposed to go to new homes, then I just pray that they go to beautiful, loving homes. Because, as I say, I have no idea. Well, I've spoken to God lots in the past, and I've said to God, obviously, the dogs can't come back. If I'm supposed to share what God has given me, and I'm supposed to go round, all around the country, I can't do that with 11 dogs. It's not a possibility, and I can't let someone else look after them while I'm doing that, because that won't work. So if I've got to do that, then they won't be coming back, because I can't take them with me. But then God said, well, people will be coming to you won't be going to them. You will have facilities where people can come to you. Oh, well, that changes that then, doesn't it? If that's the case, that changes it. So, that's what I believe God has said, and if God has said that, then okay, that changes things quite dramatically, because if I'm not going around in my car doing it a traditional way that people have done it, where visiting the speakers, they go to churches. Churches don't usually come to them. But if God is saying that, no, churches will be coming to you, it's like, well, okay. Okay, Father, if that's the way you want to do things, right, okay. Yeah. So these are, I'm talking a bit more about the logical hopes. And, they're all tied in. All these things are tied together. These are all things that I've been speaking to Father about over the past year and a bit. And so, that's why they're logical hopes, is because, that can't happen unless that happens, and that can't happen unless that happens. And so, if I believed if I've heard right in God with that bit, then that means that has to happen, which means that has to happen, which means that has to happen. And so, that's why I said there's a load of things that I'm waiting on at the moment. To see. That's the point. One of those things falling down doesn't necessarily change everything. Me not moving, I think me not moving should mean, and I hope it means, that the dogs aren't coming back. Simply because of the fact, too small. The place I've got is too small. It was okay for 7. But I've only got the one car now. I did have 2 cars in. I don't anymore. I only have 1 car. And still got a neighbour who would let their dog attack mine. So therefore, I would rather not be anywhere near that situation with the dogs coming back. Well, that is really up to God. So, unless I move, I'd rather they don't. Just on a personal preference for them and for me. I think it'd be better for them if they go to new homes than come back here. But again, that really is up to God, because God knows exactly what needs to be done for everything, for everyone concerned. Because, He knows which piece has to be going with that piece and which has to go with that piece, and we don't know. Well, as I say, I've said before, it's like a massive jigsaw, and we only see the one piece that we can see. But there's all these other pieces that have to come together. And God knows exactly what has to come together. And that's why I've said so many times, what God is doing in the background, we don't know. We just have to trust Him, and we just have to say, okay, with you, anything is possible. Doesn't mean that everything is likely, but anything is possible. So there you go. That's all enough for this one. So you take care, God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Have a wonderful rest of the week and have a wonderful weekend. I'll speak to you soon. You take care. Bye bye.